Dang, don't tell me that. You thought I was on the other side? I'm still broke. Who's broke? Yeah, I'm here tomorrow. I was just reading. Yeah. They say if you can make 20, you can start making that money. Oh. Dang, don't tell me that. You're the other side. I haven't left. I have not left. Oh, this guy's asking me to be his friend again. What does he want now? Yes, I do use TradingView for my technical analysis. I do everything off TradingView. Trade crypto, futures. I was trying to trade options on there. Webull supposedly allows you to trade options. Well, they don't allow you to trade options on TradingView. Like you can buy. Oh, it's something weird. It's something weird. I can't remember what it was, but it's not like buying the actual contract itself like you would want to in a traditional sense. So that's the unfortunate thing about that. Oh man, now I'm getting hammered with like friend request. Oh my god, I hate this spam. This is going to include 3 charts, so check it out. And once I post the 3 charts, let me know what you think. Okay. Yeah, let's see what you got. Oh, we got 2 minutes left of the London close, team. Man, I'm glad I took profit on those calls. I got a couple of SOX positions sitting out there in the wings, just kind of doing their thing. So if the market decides to dump or rip, I'm kind of situated on the chip side. I'm looking a little heavy here, though. Looking a little heavy going into the bottom of the hour. Got a minute left. But yeah, let's see what you got tomorrow. I will definitely check out your charts. Chart NAS 100. Take a look at the green area and the arrows. That's pretty interesting. Like a resistance bar. You can get above the 25715. It's been resistance like that for since November. Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting resistance area. Got so much stuff over there, right? Thanks, honey. You're looking at that on the week. Wait, what is this? I can't tell you. Maybe the weekly? Let me. I'm gonna switch charts so that this isn't all nasty. Because if I look at it on the other one, I got way too many lines there. Let me throw the weekly on. Boy, it's just as bad here. It is just as bad here. No, but you're not looking at it on that time frame. What is that? Is that the 4 hour you're looking at it? Sorry, with all this, all my trades have made this real nasty. You can kind of tell. So let me ask you this: since you're showing us the chart, what exactly are you thinking? You thinking whether or not we're going to get through this level once and for all? In Q1, notice the circle is a freight break that didn't happen. On NASI is the hourly, by the way. Wait for the third chart. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's wait for your third chart. Now, let me ask you this. We've already made almost 5 attempts to break this range. I guess you're looking for an explosive move to the upside. I see on your first chart, you've also got a trend line there on that hourly that's being respected. The actual contract with no fake break. You don't have a lot of volume above it. You don't even have a lot of resting orders. See that on your volume chart. It didn't even test it on the roll on the contract H. I see that. So the question is, what chart do you trust for technical analysis? I would be looking. Well, I don't trade the end. I don't trade the contracts by themselves. So I never look at like the H contracts and stuff like that, because you're looking at like a one-sided view of the market, you know. And you could have people that are in the next quarter's contracts. Trust the real contracts over the continuous. So Anon says trust the current contracts over the continuous. I trade the continuous contract. For me, it has worked, but it's what I've been using, you know, since I moved over to TradingView, you know, a couple of years ago. So for me, you know, I'm already accustomed to it. For me, I would say the continuous, because you have the general consensus of price. You know, because if you look at the contracts that are like I said, the next quarter out, the I contracts, those would have a different price. They might even be higher than the current contracts. Pattern recognition. It very well could. It very well could. I mean, I trade a lot of patterns. You guys know that. You know, I look for double tops, you know, double bottoms, you know, flags, bull flags, bear flags, you know, things like that, cup and handle. So I trade those, but I don't think he's necessarily meaning that. I think he's looking for his overall technical analysis. You know what? Let's see what some other folks say in here. Maybe we could tag. Let's tag Coach Matt on this, because we know he's around. Let's see what he has to say. What do we got? I got you. Yeah, you're right on that. The where prices decided on trading view is according to theirs, so not it, you know, because there is no real continuous, you know, contract. So yeah, you are right on that. But you have a general agreement of where price is, and it is being represented in a valid way. You know, believe it or not, my morning levels are all based on the continuous contracts. I trade, you know, the morning levels you see, they're all based on the continuous contracts. I don't never no one's ever approached me about using a specific expiration date of the contracts. The only time I look at the specific contracts is when we're closer to rollover. You know, the other thing you got to also remember is that they're not going to be astronomically off. And the levels, they may be off $5 or $10, but they're still going to be relatively close to where they are on the continuous versus the specific expiration date. So for that side would make me think that. Let me run a couple of queries, because I got my questions about this. Gotcha. See, Anon, that would be exactly why it wouldn't matter to me, is because I'm not normally looking at that long of a trade. So that's why I wouldn't notice it. And the only thing I would be trading with a long term, like my Bitcoin trade, that's an options contract. So there is no continuous contract on that. It's just the price of the indice. Like if I were to trade Ford, Tesla, Apple, anything else like that, I wouldn't even have a continuous or anything like that. I would just be looking at the pure price action. So that's probably why I haven't had any real issues with it. Like, what kind of swing would you be looking at? Like, if you were, are any of you guys taking that kind of swing, like longer than a couple of days? You all are looking for like month out swings. Once in a while. Okay. I'm gonna go with like Anon. Imagine that you trade a breakout and use the NQ1 hourly and you see that break, but it never did exist on the actual contract. I mean, well, how much different is it? It's not giving me the. Okay, so. Well, the price is exactly the same though on the March, because like right now we're at 846 and we're at 846 on NASDAQ. Unfortunately, these charts are going to look a little different. You know what? I could, let's see, I could split the chart. You could do a split chart and then compare it. I mean, price is pretty much in line with those contracts right now. Oh, you've been holding it on paper. Got you. I think it's good to have a long term perspective, even as a trader. You know, it really depends on how you're framing, your long time, your long term perspective. I mean, but really, your long term perspective on the market should be upside because the market is by design to go up. I don't know. It's a very interesting question. It's a very interesting question. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's how Mike does those week long holds, or like multi week, because I think he has some contracts that he holds for like weeks and stuff. He'll hold them up to a month. Well, Amoro, I don't think that you don't have to know everything to trade. You just have to have at least some consistency that you see your portfolio growing. Once you get to that point that you can see yourself constantly, passing evals, getting payouts, that should be an indication to you that you could move towards your own broker. You know, the other thing to also think of, Amaro, you only need like $50 to trade futures contracts. You know that, right? $50 and you can buy a single MNQ con. It doesn't leave you a lot of margin. It doesn't leave you any real margin. But think about it. Think about it. You could be dumping $50 a week into your broker, right? 4 weeks, that's $200. You could build yourself a little portfolio. You could start scalping and, you know, seeing if you could make those trades and growing a small cash port. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. When I started seeing that, you know, I was passing, I was getting payouts, and then, you know, I was like kind of back and forth and, you know, PAs, evals. $50 to buy a contract, but one single wrong move and you're done. Don't forget, Amaro. You could trade a M2K. You could trade M2K. The moves are a lot less. You know, your margin requirement, I think in some brokers is almost $30 on that. You know, you'd be looking at a 50-cent move per point, I think it is, something like that. And you could leave yourself some room to where you could start kind of like slowly grinding it along. You know, but you know what you're saying about the options, that doesn't correlate because we don't have continuous contracts. There are no continuous contracts in the options chain. So I would never even think of that, you know. But I think if I were to swing, I would be swinging options more than I would be swinging a future for that long, for like 30 days or something like that. Like my Bitcoin trade, you know? And the cool thing about it is that you don't have to worry about getting margin called, you know? So you have to realize that there's different risks to reward on both sides. You know, they're both the same, but they're both very, very different. So I understand where you're getting at. But I think for me, you know, for an intraday trader and the way you know what, I've been doing this a long time. I hardly ever find the entries to where I can have a multi-day hold. Very rarely do those come for me personally. And I've been doing this for a few years now. You know, I find it difficult to try to catch that entry to where I can say, all right, I'm going to hold this till next month, or that it just gives me that I can hold it for a month. I wish I could. I would love that. That would make me very happy. But it's not often, you know, very rarely. And most of the time I'm done by the day. So, you know, depends on what your long-term goal is and what you're trying to attain. And also, you're not going to find very many props that you can swing that long. Dang. That's insane. That's a great trade right there. Yeah, I see that. 1,000 points. That's a killer trade right there, man. 1,120 points. Sheesh. I'm a little jelly. I'm not gonna lie. Not easy. I know it's not easy, man. I know it's not easy. Are we breaking out here going into New York lunch? Are we really gonna break out for New York lunch? That would be fire. Now I'm kind of mad I sold my options. My spike calls. No, I'm not. They're just 7 cents above my entry. They actually came all the way back into like they actually dipped in lower than what I originally had bought them for. I'm super happy for the day. We're sitting nice and green for the morning session. Bitcoin is kind of stalling. Hasn't done anything. Making a nice bullish flag. It's like a market might just start breaking out here going into New York lunch. Let's go, team. I should have bought it in this. All right, we're making a new intraday high here on NQ, pushing 25,902. ES has just broken 7,000, team. ES has just broken 7,000. Congrats to you traders that are out there trading that, because you guys probably made some money. Yeah, those 694s just ripped back up to the upside. Little move on the market. Killer. All right, team. We're about 8 minutes away from the top of the hour, and that's New York lunch. And I think I'm ready for some New York lunch myself. Don't forget, we got a lot of trading day left. Thank you all for joining me here in the morning session. Don't forget, we've got some fantastic sales going on right now. Direct to funded, instant funded on sale currently for 20 and 25% off. We also have our Welcome 26 sale. That's a half off special for new account holders. So if you're a new member looking to sign up, change your life in trading, don't forget about that. And we've also got our Rhythmic sale going on. That's right. So anyone looking for a Rhythmic account, enjoy 50% off on all Rhythmic accounts. So you got 3 redemptions per customer, and that expires today. All right, team, from all of us at Blue Sky, hope you all have a great and fantastic day, and hope you all enjoyed the morning session. I know I did. As always, good luck in the market. I will see you all Monday morning. Don't forget, we'll be here Monday morning with those morning levels. So have a great day, team. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you all soon.